Yo, PB, what's up, man? The first one. Hi, everybody. Waiting on Jayzinho. Let's see. Where's Jay? So I'm sorry I cannot accept anybody except Jay. So I'm waiting for Jay, and then we go live. Pink is the new black. Almost. So how's everybody? Doing okay during this period? Yo, my man from Spain. You can't hear me? Can you all hear me? Oh, yeah, from Mexico, man. I'm sorry. Yo, Jay, where you at, bro? Waiting for you. Anybody got some questions for me during we're waiting for Jay? Ja, geluid is goed. Thanks, man. Ah, that is Jay. Hey, Jos. Yo, Jay, what's up, man? You doing good?
What's up, dude? I was struggling to figure out
I
the
cannot hear you
request.
very well.
Huh? Can you hear me?
Oh, never mind, man. It was my
Put some
son.
volume here, bro.
Yeah,
You got me
you're
now?
good now. So,
Alright.
what's up, man?
Doing, bro.
How you been?
Good, man. Just trying to get through this whole thing. You know how it is.
And how do you get through the whole thing?
Huh?
What do you do? What do you do
Train
during this
all
quarantine
the
time?
time. I just pretty much work out, run. Been knocking the ball a bit. You know how I have my academy. I have to do my training videos through WhatsApp, Zoom. So it's really different, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for anybody that doesn't know Jay, Jay is a man from Miami, one of the pioneers from the States. You know, started out as a 11-a-side player, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Went indoor futsal, then got into street football, right?
Because of you
And
guys.
because of us, I'm sorry, man.
Because of you
I'm
guys,
sorry. It's like COVID-19, man. It spreads. So yeah, and yeah, you're the man from FIFA Volta.
Well, we all are, man. We all are, man.
Yeah, but I gotta tell everybody, you know, at the beginning it was FIFA Street, and we all had a part in the whole process. You too, you did the motion capture for FIFA Street too, right?
Yeah, the last
Um,
one in 2012, I did.
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from there on, you know, it was silent for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden you hit me up for the FIFA Volta thing, and you actually had a big saying in the story, right?
Yeah, so pretty much what happened with that was they contacted me because I did the last one in 2012, but you know in 2012 it was just gameplay. There wasn't no story mode. So I just got contacted by it was an agency. It wasn't even EA. Like it was very like secretive, you know. And they're just like, oh, we want to know about this and that. And I'm like, hold on a second. Like I started putting two and two together, you know. I'm like, doing all and I was like, this is sounding like it's a little bit like FIFA Street, you know, like what we were doing back in the day, because they told us how they wanted to come out with a storyline, and then they said it was a video game, and I was like, all right, cool. But pretty much, I was just helping out with what I was doing was I was helping out with the research of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they had two target cities. They wanted to do Rio de Janeiro, 100%.
Yeah.
And then they were saying a city in the U.S. But I'm like, dude, if you really want a real deal, I'm like, you gotta go to the heart of it, where pretty much started, which was Amsterdam, right? So then they were going back and forth with me because they're like, dude, we don't know if we're gonna be able to fly out there, you know, because they had set in their mind that it was Brazil, Rio. And I mean, you know, you of all people know how this works, man. I mean, like, there's different types of styles. Like, Brazilians, they play some serious street ball in the favelas, man. It's pretty crazy, but it's a completely different style as to what you guys do in Amsterdam, and pretty much Europe, man. You know.
Yeah.
So once I explained that to them, I said, dude, no matter what, we got to go over there. I'm like, there's so many places in Europe. You got the ballers from France, Belgium, Germany, from Holland. I'm like, you guys just got to go to one place in Europe to see what it's like. And I'm gonna show you that it's a completely different style of game of what you're seeing when we play in Brazil. So that's what we did. And then we ended up meeting up with you guys, with you, Izzy, Ori, Rocky. Play too, man. And yeah, as for the story though, it was kind of tricky because, like, they just wanted to do the research and know about everyone of how they came to be, because they started realizing how you got your sponsored athletes that make a living off of this, and then you got guys with massive followings that just get by, you know. So they started seeing, like, the different levels to it, you know. And they wanted to interview, as you know, a bunch of people to tell their story, and then that's how they came up with the story, just having to know a little bit of everyone's story. So then when I got together with the writer himself, they came up with the story that they came up with, and that was that, man. It's not like in that part, it's not like the only thing I could do is I could be like, dude, this person doesn't say this, or this person doesn't act like this, but, like, the story was the story. Like, that was gonna change. I had no say in that, man. But it was pretty crazy, the whole process, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you coming over here and meeting with the people from EA. It was very interesting. We balled up in the King's Dome, which was good. I saw that you still have the footage because you posted it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the story in FIFA Volta, even though somebody else wrote it, it is, to me, very realistic, and it's very close to reality, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool. And even though that some people think I'm an asshole in the game, it's most likely because of the way that I communicate. But I'm behind the message that it brings. How do you feel about the story?
I can imagine the DMs you get, because I get it too, man. They're like, Jay, how do you leave our team at the end of the game and this and that? I hate you. Like, I was like, chill, bro. It's a game.
You get that too?
Oh yeah, like crazy, bro. Like crazy. Bro, I get the message, like, the most common one that I get is, oh my God, you're real. I can't believe you're real. And then it's always followed up with, why did you leave my team? I don't like you anymore, this and that. Like, it was pretty funny, man. But I always write back to them, like, dude, you gotta chill out. It's only a game. I hope you enjoyed it. And then they're like, oh, he's a nice guy.
I got the exact same thing, man. First they curse me out and then give me some shit, and then when you just talk to them, they're like, "Oh, you're actually real different than the game." I was like, "It's a game, man. It's like watching a movie. You know, it's an actor. You cannot be mad at the guy. The story's been written."
For sure, man. No, but that
So,
was awesome. It was a crazy experience. I mean, to be honest with you, it was a dream come true for me, because when I did it the first time, it was awesome. But it was just gameplay, you know. I'm like, man, when I did the motion capture, I'm sure for you as well, man. Like, I grew up playing this video game as a kid. I still play the FIFA playing right now, and like, to be able to have a part in it, put skills in the game, and just be a part of it in general, man. It was a dream come true, man. And just to see everything that goes on behind the scenes of making the game, like people don't realize how how complex it is. Like especially like for example, that's another thing I get. They're like, dude, why didn't they put this move in the game, or why didn't they put this move in the game? And I explain it to them. I'm like, dude, our moves alone are already difficult as it is, right? Especially at certain speeds, and especially when you start combining them. Imagine trying to do that on a controller. You're just like all over the place, right? So there's so many moves that when I did the motion capture, and I'm sure it happened to you when you did it at your time, there's so many moves that when you put it, they don't even end up in the game because they don't find a way of how it makes sense to combine it on a controller.
Yeah, yeah, I recognize that. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Brazil because Brazil is represented big time on this chat. I see. So what's up, Brazil? I'm always been a fan of Brazil. Brazil is the #1 country of football. And all my idols come from Brazil. Well, most of them, some of them from Argentina. I know that you have a passion for not the Brazilian, but Argentina player. Can you tell me a little bit about that relationship between you and that guy?
Oh man, no, I mean, dude, Messi's Messi, man. You know, I love that guy. You know what I mean? I just every time I watch him, I never get bored of him, man. And dude, I'm a look at this. I'm a die-hard AC Milan fan. You see that, right?
Yeah.
I've been suffering for the past couple of years, but it's all right, you know. But I watch Barcelona just because of Messi. If that guy's not playing, I don't even bother watching him because it's not the same, you know. But I was lucky enough to meet him in 2012 when I did that FIFA Street. He was gonna be. It was his first year being on the cover of a FIFA video game, and it started with FIFA Street. So I went over to Barcelona and I got to meet him and knock the ball around with him and talk to him, and dude, that was unreal, man. That was unreal. But dude, my number one, Messi's number 2 for me, man. Messi's number 2.
Oh,
my number one guy.
Wait a minute. Secret.
I'm gonna show
Reveal
you
the secret.
Let me just check this out for a second. I gotta find it, man. I had it here, I think, bro. Just give me 1 sec, bro.
I'm very curious. I think the name starts with an R.
Dude, I have it. I actually have it upstairs, man, but the Ronaldinho signed jersey, bro. That thing is my life. I got 2 of them.
How did you get them?
Huh?
How did you get them?
Huh?
How did you get
them? Dude, I went to Brazil with my boy Gabriel, and I told my boy Gabriel, he's a really good friend of his. I'm like, bro, I've been trying to meet this guy for like 10 years now, man, and I've had occasions where I was supposed to do events with him, photo shoots, videos, so many different times that it was supposed to like come this close, and dude, it just didn't happen. So my boy's like, yo, let's go to Brazil, and you're gonna meet him now, cause he saw us playing that that Brazilian game with the table, foot mess.
Yeah, tech ball.
He saw us playing that, and he messaged Gabriel. So then
No way.
Gabriel's like, I told Gabriel about me chasing this guy because he's my hero, my idol, everything. You know the story too, man. You know it. And dude, he took me over there, and I ended up hanging out with him, man. I saw him do a music video, which was awesome. And then I went to his house and I hung out with him for a couple hours, and I just talked to him, man. He was the most amazing guy ever, man. Amazing guy, bro. Amazing.
Yeah, he's an amazing dude. Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. He's like how he plays, man. You know, he's just pure at
Just
heart.
magic, bro. That was just magic nonstop. Magic nonstop, man. Every single game, the guy came out with something. I mean, and the thing was with this guy is like, even if he was having an average game, which rarely happened, out of nowhere, the guy will give you a pass that will give you a game-winning goal, or the guy will score a ridiculous goal, or he'll just come up with a highlight that was just, that guy was magic, man. He was
Yeah,
magic.
yeah. I totally agree, man. And I have the same feeling. We're about the same age. I have a similar feeling with Ronaldo, number 9,
Yeah, no,
right?
he's a monster, bro.
Man, if he wouldn't got injured,
Bro, but
we would
you
still
gotta
enjoy
think
it.
about that too for a second. That guy busted his knees, right? But he
Say what?
busted his
Yeah,
knees. Yeah, he busted his knees in an era where they didn't even have the microscopic surgery. Like that
yeah,
guy has a scar like this on his knees, man. Like I tore my ACL. My ACL was really, really, really bad. It took me out for like about almost a year and a half. It took me 2
yeah,
years to get to like to normal of movement and playing and stuff. And that guy was playing within 6 months after his surgery the first time, man. But dude,
yeah. By the
they
way,
didn't
Izzy
have
says
the
hi.
technology. Huh?
Hitman says hi to you. What's up, Izzy?
That's my boy, bro. Hey Izzy, I still got your jersey, bro.
The
I love
TMI,
that
bro.
guy. You know what I
We
call
don't need to know
Izzy?
everything.
Huh?
We don't need to know everything. TMI about the jersey.
Dude, I call Izzy the Messi of street ball, man.
Yeah,
He's my favorites, man. That guy when he wants to, man, he just anybody in front of him, it's over, bro. It's
yeah,
over.
true. Yeah,
Oh, man, he's amazing.
yeah. He's a little genius, man. Little
Dude,
like.
falling beside you the whole time, how do you not become to that? You know what I mean? That's like
Thank
when
you,
you
bro.
saw.
Appreciate it.
You kidding me, man? That's like you ever watch the goal? I watch it. I watch it all the time, man, and it gives me chills, man. When Ronaldinho gives the assist to Messi's first goal, and Messi chips the goalie, dude, man, it's ridiculous, man. It's like the guy was like passing him the torch right there, bro. It was ridiculous. No, that was
So
amazing.
you're a real football animal, right?
Oh, I love
You
it,
just
man.
yeah, and I visited you a couple of years ago, and we went onto the streets and we visited some courts. And you're a rare species out there, man. Can you tell people a little bit about the Miami street scene because it's different.
Dude, I mean, you get elbows flying, you get kicked to the chest, like it's hardcore, man. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't really care when you play out here. They don't really care how you win. You know what I mean? If it's ugly, man. But the most important thing is that you just win.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, man. I remember playing with you, man. It was amazing, and we were stepping on the ball, doing our thing, man. But we were getting clapped from behind. We were getting spit on. Like it was crazy, man.
I thought it
And
was at UFC.
huh?
I thought I was at a UFC event.
Yeah, bro. It's like that. It's like that. You gotta think. I mean, that's over here. It's more. There's a lot of South American culture, man. They're all like that, man. They're just
Yeah, passionate. Yeah.
they're passionate and they play dirty, man. So I mean, it's pretty different from what we're used to when we do these events where there's a lot of like peace and love and respect. But I mean, dude, here it's not like that, man. It's
Yeah.
definitely not like that, man. But
No,
we have
it's different, but I gotta admit, I don't care. You know, if you're a good street football player, you gotta be able to adjust to any situation.
any
You know,
situation.
yeah, and they get the best out of me. You know, once they start kicking me or talking trash to me, I'm kind of like Jordan. You know, once you
Bro,
teased him, he was like a Super Saiyan, and I'm the same. You hit me, I just changed, man.
Bro,
I got a new mission in life, and that's just destroy you.
dude, and I remember telling you because I know, bro, you balled out around different parts of the world. You know how it is, man. You know what I mean? And I never
Yeah,
forget the day that I told you, I'm like, yo, they know who you are. I'm like, they're gonna come at you hard. And these are things that you always hear, man. But I'm like, bro, they're really gonna come at you like hard. So be careful. I remember the first thing I was telling you, and you just shook it off. You're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Bro, the moment they started hitting you, you took it like a champ. It was one, two, three, four, five. Bro, when it got to like six, and you saw, remember when I took out the guy that hit you from behind and I lost my shit? And then you were
yeah,
looking at me like I was crazy. But then all of a sudden I saw you transform, bro, and you just kept going at him and going at him and go. That was amazing, dude. That was amazing. It was like in but you experienced it when we were in London for the FIFA premiere, and the guy
yeah,
kept hitting you. The guy from Brazil kept hitting you from behind, and you started flexing on him, bro. That was the funniest thing ever, bro.
yeah.
That was a highlight. For me. That was the highlight of the tournament, bro.
Yeah, we got to explain this situation a little bit. So we were playing the finals against Brazil in the FIFA Volta activation, and Brazil had an amazing team, and it was supposed to
They were
be,
stacked. They were
you know,
stacked.
you had to. It was supposed to be a mix of influencers, YouTubers, social media people, and ballers. And these guys just had a team, ballers, man, and it was an amazing team. You know, they had the better team that day. But this one guy, he wasn't the best player on the team. You know, I admire his passion for the game. But
Mm-hmm.
this guy was elbowing everybody and kneeing and hitting him like it was nothing. And I was like, hold up. So again, Super Saiyan, and I just took it like a man. And I kind of made fun of him because of the way he played, and people
Yeah,
just was just crying and crying on the floor laughing. The guy was because I was flexing when he was hitting me.
yeah. And he was double your size. He was double your
Yeah,
size.
yeah, true. Yeah,
And then you just flexed on him. The guy looked at you, and you got it was too funny, man, because it was just like you were just pretty much like, bro, you're not getting the ball. Get out of here. It was too funny, bro. That
yeah.
was, bro. I'm telling you, for me, that was like that was my favorite part of that whole entire tournament, bro. It was the best part.
It was a good event, though. It was a good event. England
It
was
was really
representing,
good.
Brazil was representing, you guys were representing. There were a lot of good ballers and good teams, even though it was a mixed team. You know,
That's what I was gonna say. Like,
men, female,
yeah,
influencers, athletes. It was good. It was good.
no, it was really well put together. I would just wanna. I think what you did not too long ago in the King's Dome. I think that's where it's at though, man. Like just getting the best of the best in one spot. You know what I mean? Try to get like that. That's for me. That's real entertainment, and that's something to me. That's something to really, really, really look forward to, man. Like I remember I was supposed to go down to that tournament, and I couldn't last minute. I was heartbroken too, man, because obviously I wanted to see you and the boys. Ronaldinho was there too, man.
Yeah.
Uh, but dude, from what I saw, that looked like an incredible event, man. And you could count me in 100, bro. I'm gonna bring in a team next time for that tournament, man.
I
100%.
keep you. I keep your word.
Please, please, I'm saying it right now, man. I'm gonna be in that tournament because just to see the ballers that were there, that those are the kind of guys that you wanna compete against, you know.
Yeah, true.
Those
Yeah,
are the
there
guys you
were a
want to
lot of
compete
good ballers.
against. And so many talented ballers out there, man. It's sick,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
So yeah, dude.
So there's a question: why did we choose street football over futsal or 11-a-side? What is your reason?
Dude, I did 11 aside. I did it for like about six and a half years. And then I ended up I did it backwards because I was in Europe
Bro,
and
I
I
don't
went
know.
to
Is something wrong with your mic?
is it cutting off?
No, I don't hear you that well.
I can hear you good, man. Can you hear me now?
Let me check. Try again.
Yo,
Yeah, I hear you a little bit less, but it's okay. So I'm sorry. Please continue, bro.
yeah. So I did it backwards, man. I was playing in a team in France. I was on a reserve team for a couple of years, and then from there I went to Chile. I played on a team over there for a bit, and then I came to back home, and I got offered a deal with Adidas doing what I do now, man. And I was just like, man, I've been fighting and trying to get through this, but it's not as easy as people think it is, because obviously there's a lot of politics behind it. Certain players that have to be pushed, agents, this, that. So when I got this opportunity, I'm like, dude, I'm pretty good at this. And I said, I have an opportunity to make a mark on a world stage, and I rather, in my opinion, as a person, I rather be one of the best at what I do instead of just another average player. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I got into this. You were a massive influence from the street ball side of it. Izzy was coming out. I was watching videos of Ori as well. That guy Jermaine, he was a monster too.
Yeah.
You guys were a massive influence, and dude, I mean, when I was over there, there was these little street courts, and I was always playing on them and messing around on them, right?
Yeah.
And watching Ronaldinho videos with freestyle, that got me into like the freestyle side of it. So I just like that type of player, the flair player in general. And that's how I got into that. And luckily enough, man, I made a career out of it. I got sponsored. My goal was to be sponsored. I got sponsored. Then my goal was to be in a video game. I got into a video game. And then my main dream came true of teaching ballers at an academy. And I started my own academy, and thankfully it's been going really well. Even though this little virus thing hit, I still interact with all my athletes. Those guys are my world, man. And that's how it ended up happening for me too. The other guy who really pushed me, that is Steve Elias, Eli
Yeah.
Freeze. Man, that guy took me under his wing, and he taught me a lot, man, from like the business side of it. Because that's, how it is, man. A lot of these young guys, or even there's even some of the older guys, man. I mean, they have immense talent, but they don't know how to explode it, man. And they don't know how to make a career out of it, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to me, that all just comes down to their mentality. You know what I'm saying? Because a big question I get asked all the time, Edward, is how did you get sponsored, and how do you have like what you have from them? And I'm like, listen, man, I'm like, my number one thing is my work ethic and my loyalty. You know what I'm saying? I stuck to
Yeah.
one brand, and I pushed with one brand. I'm not even kidding you, I had like 4 or 5 different brands trying to contact me to do stuff for them. But you know what happens, and you know about this, man. I mean, you've been a Nike guy pretty much all your life. I mean, to be sponsored by a brand like that, that's special, bro. And you got to protect that. So I see these new young guys. Man, one day they're working with Puma, the next day they're jumping onto Adidas, the next day they're jumping onto Nike. It's like, dude, you're switching every other day just to make a quick dollar. They don't see the longer vision. And then that's what happened with me. When my sponsors started finding out that I was turning down other people, and they always saw that I was always trying to go above and beyond for them, they just started giving me more and more and more and more and more. And that's how it is, man. I mean, it's just, if you work hard, legit, it's just putting in the work and being loyal, man. That's it. And people will respect you more. That's all it
Yeah.
was, man.
I think it's a very good
And
lesson. because
Yeah, and
I'm totally with you, man. You know, you got to be brand loyal, and not just for the sake of showing that you can get shoes from Puma, Adi, and Nike at the same time, which is obviously interesting content, but it also shows you're not loyal, you know, and brands want loyalty. So I totally feel you. Um, but it's difficult to make it as an influencer or a baller online. So I understand the choices that they make, but sometimes you gotta think further than tomorrow. So I totally agree with you, man. It's very important to show your loyalty to your crew, to any brand, you know. If and like you say, if you go for them 100%, they will also treat you like that, you know, instead of like, I'll send this guy a shoe, and the next time I'll send him a shirt when it suits me.
exactly.
It's not the way it works. That will never be a money maker then, you know, if you just do it for the shoe. And that's actually what I said with, I think it was my conversation with Jack. That's how we give the power back to these big brands instead of keeping the power ourselves. You know, we're the new athletes. We're the new influencers through social media, and finally through internet. You know, we got a little bit of saying and power. But doing this type of shit, you know, we give it back to them because they know that we do videos or whatever it takes just for a shoe. And I think that's where we make a big mistake. But that's my opinion.
No, I 100% agree with you, man. And it just doesn't make sense to me, man. I mean, look, think about the brands. To them to give a person a shoe is nothing. You know what I mean? So then, and you're get and these guys are giving them viral videos just because they want to shoot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, the, get it? Brands pay a lot of money, man, for those type of views, bro. So I mean, we're in the driver's seat. You know what I'm saying? But
But
I
we got to
mean, that's
realize that.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. But that makes the difference, man. And that's why it came down to it. Like, I was lucky to have a guy like, for example, like Eli, like Steve Elias. I was lucky enough to have a guy like him that guided me and taught me all these little things, you know, because when I was beside him, for example, it's like you and Izzy, like I had that kind of relationship with him, you know, and when I was doing all these tours and I was doing all these events, like I was just always paying attention to the little details of what got him forward, what made him get more business, you know, make a living off of it. And he taught me a lot of that, man. So I mean, everything comes to that, man. So yeah, bro, I 100% agree with you that some of these guys they gotta change their ways, man. And it's sad because a lot of these guys are super talented, man. Crazy talented, and I don't think they realize the potential they have to move forward and make that jump, you know.
Yeah, and I also think that's a little bit of guidance, you know. Us as a first generation, we did had that guidance, and I think we're still not there, you know. Even this generation has no guidance, and it's very difficult for a regular management to manage street ballers because, you know, what are the prices, you know. So I think, you know, first generation should open up more for the old generation needs to open up more for the new generation, try to help them out. But it also means that the younger generation, you know, needs to be able to listen to what we're saying. You know, and end of the day, you got to do with it what you want. But you know, at least have an open mind to it. And you know, I think us as a first generation, especially from the business side, I think we can help the future
it's it's
generation.
it's a little bit like pulling teeth, though. You know exactly what I'm talking about because I mean, dude, and it's kind of messed up because, for example, you you come out here, you start creating these crazy moves that no one's ever seen before, right?
Yeah.
You put some serious hours, some serious sweat, some serious blood into creating what you created. Now think about all that time that it took you to create what you did, right? Those movements. Nowadays, 13, 14-year-old goes on YouTube, Instagram, watches your move, practices it nonstop for like 7 hours, and then he does it no problem. So then when he goes back and he talks about your move, he's like, bro, that's easy. I could do that, this and that. And then they don't look at us like the same way as it's hard to explain. You get what I'm saying? It's like they don't share that same level of respect that, for example, I shared from you when I learned from you, because I know how hard it is. You know, when I started creating moves myself, and when you have your moves going around the world like crazy, but these guys just have it at the palm of their hands with a click of a button, that's where their mentality changes. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of messed up. So they don't have the same respect. Like I learned some crazy moves. For example, like I hear it all the time, like some crazy freestyle moves that I learned from Eli. And then like freestylers today would be like, dude, that's basic. I'm like, basic? Okay, first of all, try it. They struggle to do it. 1. 2, they're like, oh, it's an old school move. Why? Because you don't do like 5 around the worlds in a row, man. You know what I'm saying? But they can't do the basic move apparently, but they could do like 4 around the worlds in one shot. You get what I'm saying? It's they train different, man. And I think that's where it comes in, where when we try to open up to them and help them out, where they think, a lot of them, they think it's like, oh, I'm above this. I do more than this. You know what I mean? Which is to me, that's wrong, bro. You gotta walk before you run. You know what I'm saying?
It's 100%. But I also think it's our mistake from the first generation. We didn't educate people. You know, we were just playing for the passion of it. And we're now 3rd or 4th generation, and people don't even know where the moves come from. You know, they have no clue. They have no clue who are the pioneers. You know, who are the Run DMCs of street football. So, you know, it's also a little bit that we were sleeping back in those days, but we didn't care. You know, it was just for the love of the game instead of a business opportunity or followers or whatever. So, you know, I get the questions a lot of times is, how do you see street football in 5 years? But I want to ask you different questions. How would you like to see street football in 5 years?
Dude, I mean, for me, that's I want to see more of what you did, those type of events. I want to see those type of events with really, really big sponsors. I want to see it televised. I want to see it with a point system, because I think with a point system, that's how you really know with big tournaments like that who's on top of their game. And man, I just want to see it with more love, man, more passion. I mean, you know how passionate I am when I play and stuff. But I see that there's a lot of hate and negativity, man. I hate that, man. I mean, just let people play and create. And one thing I think I want to see more in street football is more contact, man. More contact, because I notice a lot of these young up and coming guys, when you touch them, they start crying right away. And I didn't grow up in an environment like that. Like I was coming out of games bruised and bleeding. You know what I'm saying? I was getting spit on. You know, I was going up I was playing up against guys that were like 6, 7 years older than me, and the only reason why I could hang with them is because I could ball. But dude, I couldn't disrespect them in any way, in a sense where like I'm gonna tell them you're shit or this or that because I could beat you. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just different, man. And I just want to see contact, man. I mean, if you're able, the way I look at it is that if I have a guy in front of me and he has the balls to go and disrespect me with the ball, then he better be ready to take a hit if I gotta hit him. You know, obviously I'm not doing it to hurt the guy. I'm just trying to hold my own and defend. You know what I'm saying? And if the ball goes, the guy's not going, bro. Or if the guy's going, then the ball's not going. One or the other one's not going. You know what I mean? But my mentality is that there has to be more contact, and that's where I get into the topic of like pana, dude. I'm not too crazy about it because there's no contact. I respect completely the talent these guys have, because the way I look at it, it's like a little game, bro. Like, these guys go for these openings, they move the ball around, they do some crazy skills. But like, picture this, Edward, bro. It's like, technically, I could do 3 or 4 ground moves 6 feet away from the guy and then just blast the ball through the guy's feet, and I won. I got a pana. Like, how does that make any sense? You know what I'm saying? To me, the ultimate disrespect is when you do that and you get the ball back. If you get the ball back, then that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it. I look at it also from a footballer mentality too, not a street baller, because a lot of footballers that I've came across, like pros, they'd be like, bro, a lot of those guys can't do those moves on me. If I'm hitting them and I'm putting contact and I'm putting body on them. And I'm like, okay, maybe some moves, no, but I mean, bro, they'll still be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously when you go in aggressive and you start pushing in with people leave openings, they leave gaps. But what I'm saying is that, dude, there has to be contact in order for football in general to respect it. You get what I'm saying? Because like, you, at the end of the day, this is football. You get what I'm saying? It may be street ball, but at the end of the day, we grew up in an era where street football was also physical, and we're used to that, and it should stay that way. You know what I'm saying? It should stay that way. None of the softness where you're doing ground moves and all of a sudden I put my hand on your shoulder and all of a sudden you're like, yo, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
Dude, and that's why I'm not too fond of pana. I think pana would be amazing if you have to win the ball back and there's contact. Because a lot of the guys that are doing what they're doing, they wouldn't be doing it if there was hardcore contact into it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the new generation looks at it a little bit different. You know, like you just said, we look at it from a footballer's aspect, and I think they made a new community that is based on pana, and it's more more of a show off than actually football. You know what I mean? So it's going to be very difficult for these guys to pull off those crazy moves that they do. If it can be physical, you know, I think end of the day, it's going to be more of a competition with a judge, you know, of how crazy moves you can do than actually by goals. But you know, it's the next generation, and it grew that way, and you know, we were
let
actually.
me ask you something, Edward. When you play with like a super hardcore pana guy in a game, what does that feel like? What does that feel like?
In a 3v3, 4v4?
In a 3v3, 4v4.
Yeah, most of the time it's difficult.
So I've played a 5v5 futsal game with a pana guy. How does that feel?
It's difficult because he doesn't know how to rotate. He doesn't know the place. So it's difficult. Most of the times they follow the ball instead of, you know, marking their opponent.
And you know what else?
You know, there's a lot of different aspects to pana in regular football.
And you know what else? You know what else happens a lot? They put their head down and they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. For example, imagine a guy that's playing pana and you're breaking on a rotation on a run, and you do it 4, 5, 6, 7 runs, and you're still not getting the ball. You're gonna lose your shit, bro. You're gonna lose it.
Yeah, but you know what I think, Jay, is that how we looked at street football different than 11-a-side, the new generation looks at Pana different than street football. You know, so it's kind of comparing badminton to tennis. So,
100%. Right
you
on
know, we
that.
come from a totally different era, and you know, every generation makes it its own, and we just got to respect it. And you know, I think what we do need to do is guard the street matches. You know, that we don't uh, grow back. You know, sometimes when a plant grows too big, you know, it hasn't has the strength to go up, but it will go down and back again, and that's something that we need to be careful of. You know, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I mean,
And I also
the way
think
I
it's
look at it, the way I look at it too is that, I mean, the way I personally play is like I'm a weird mix, bro, because I played 11 aside, I played futsal, and I played street ball. So I have a little bit of a little bit of everything. But I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win direct. Like with me, you've seen me play. I'll do one, two, three moves and then I'm out. Like I'm not gonna sit there and do ground moves for show or any of that. Even though we can easily do that. We can easily do that. But at the end of the day, if you're doing this and you're not winning, you ain't shit. That's the way I look at it. That's the
yeah.
way I look at it. I mean, yeah, you can win with style, but I mean, if you're not winning the game in general, it's you ain't doing anything with it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And that's
Like
also how
a lot of
the
people ask
mass
me. A
looks
lot
at
of
it.
people, yeah, a lot of people ask me. They're like, "Yo, what's your favorite tricks to doing games and this or that, or what's your favorite trick to do this and that?" I'm like, dude, whatever. What my favorite trick is a trick that puts the ball in the back of the net. Whatever gives me the advantage, bro, for real. Whatever gives me the advantage to put the ball in the back of the net. If I could do a trick that gives me 1 inch or one split second to make the pass so my teammate could put the ball in the net or I could put the ball in the net, then I'll do it. But I'm not
Yeah.
just gonna sit there and do it just to get myself tired out and then not be able to win the game.
It's interesting what you're saying because when we started out, I think we were playing street football for about 6, 7 years, and you know, Nike approached us to go to the States to do numerous of commercials for Nike, and it was about soccer tape because you know a lot of things need to be organized in the States, and I just wanted to show that when you pick up a ball and you got duct tape, you can tape a goal on a wall and you can just start playing football. So when we went to Portland, you know, our manager said, you know, we got the best street football players in the world, so you gotta experience this. So all the guys from football, the football department of Nike, came downstairs and we played at headquarters. And we were just, you know, going from left to right, doing all these crazy moves, giving mags and everything. And the funny thing was that we, from our community or our subculture, how you want to call it, you know, we living in this bubble that it was very important to mag these people or to do akkers around them, whatever. But these guys didn't even care, you know. You know, we messed them up like crazy. They didn't care. They grabbed the ball and they just put it in the net, like you said. And then he went back to our manager, or they went back to our manager and said, yeah, they got amazing tricks, but what was the score? And that's how the mass looks at football. And that's where we realized, okay, we got to mix up those tricks with actually passing the ball or scoring a goal to eventually win the game. Otherwise, it didn't have use. And that was at the beginning, you know, we were living in that bubble that what we were doing was amazing. But everybody around us was like, yeah, it looks nice, but you know, you got to win the end of the day. And as long as we win, you can make me all you want. So that
Yeah.
was a lesson for us. And that's when we changed, we switched it up.
Yeah, no, and if that and that's the mentality how it is in South America too, man. Like they don't care how they win as long as they win the game, you know. And I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, if you do it with style, even better. You know, if you could pull off some nasty tricks and win the game, even better. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. I mean, that's what I personally would like to see. in street ball, and that's what I want to kind of see, because like like I said about Pana, there's only a few guys that I see that I'm like, dude, first of all, there's crazy talent the way these guys do these ground moves, man. Like there's some stuff that they do that is just unreal, bro. It's unreal. But from what I've seen, there's only a certain amount of guys that I watch, and a lot of them are from Denmark, man. Some of those guys from Denmark are ridiculous. Some of the German guys too. There's only a certain guys that I see, that I know, that if they go for that pana, that they'll be able to get it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just have that craft, like, mastered to the T, man. Like mastered to the T, which is sick. Yeah. It's sick because they're putting their hours in to that, and it shows. But I just don't like when I see those videos where like they're standing like 6 feet apart and they're blasting the ball through the legs and it hits his ankle and goes through his legs, and they're like, everyone's celebrating like getting the craziest shit on earth, bro. It's like, yeah. I mean, what gets me the most? I see it, bro, and that's why pro footballers, like, I have this conversation. I have a lot of friends that are pro footballers, bro, and that's why that they always say it. They're like, dude, they don't get the ball back. They get the ball back, and that's why it's looked as, like, to them, it's looked as like, oh, whatever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, man. And there's one more thing that gets to me sometimes, is that, you know, I future sometimes I see a video and I'm like, wow, that looks amazing, and I future it on my channel. And then I was seeing that some of these guys, you know, were staging, even in games, the tricks, you know, so they were staging the scene, and I was like, I'm not gonna even share your videos anymore, man. And they came up with the most amazing tricks, and it looks amazing, but you can totally see when things are staged, you know. Yeah, it is the reaction of the opponent, which way does he turn, because we know exactly what the move is for and how your opponent is going to react. So if you do an aka around me on this way and I do this way, it's weird, you know what I mean, because your first reaction is going to be this and then you do this, so you know when it's staged, and that to me is not acceptable. You know, the pana, I can let that slide. It's just not my preference, you know. I got a different opinion about it, but staging moves just for likes and following, no, man, get out of here. Just find another hobby, because if you cannot do it in real life, you're not born to do this.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's you obviously know it too, man. It's completely different when you're doing it on someone as to when you're doing it alone. You know what I mean? Like I teach, like, when I teach guys moves, guys that I play with, or my athletes, for example, at my academy, I'll show them something crazy, and then they'll be like, whoa, man, I could do this and that, and then they end up practicing and they ended up getting it. But it's totally different doing a movement like that on a person, because then you got to watch your opponent, you got to watch the timing, you got to watch your opponent's movement, when they bite, when they don't, you know. So it's way harder. It's way harder to do these movements on someone. And then that's why I say with the whole panic thing. That's why, like, I give the respect to it, because they constantly have their opponent on them, and the stuff that they do is insane. But it's like, would it be able to do it with hardcore pressure? You know what I'm saying? And will they be able to get the ball back, which is the most important thing? I know a couple guys will, but not all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I see somebody in the chat saying a name which is familiar, Juninho Manela. Remember that guy?
Fuck, that's the guy that you flexed on, bro. You know, I played against that guy, bro. And let me tell you this story, bro. This is too funny, guy. Bro, this guy, we're playing in Orlando in what's it called? It's like it was an event with ex-professionals of pro teams to promote, like, the professional games of the teams coming down. Bro, so I'm playing on this team, And from what I understand, it's supposed to be a chill game, this and that, just put on a show. First, we step on this turf. Yo, Edward, this turf, I'm not even lying to you. The turf was like this long, bro. This is turf, bro. Like this long. Like you would
So it tickled your balls.
Bro, so you would, let's say I'm making a straight pass to you. If you were like, let's say like 7 yards, the ball starts spinning and it just does one of these. Like it goes in a different direction, bro, because the turf was so long and it was bad.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even like play properly on this turf. Like it was ridiculous. So then we start playing, and that freaking guy, bro, he elbows me straight in the face like 2 minutes in. The guy that you flexed on, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Like this is like a family event to promote these players, and this guy is out here throwing elbows at me. So I'm like, okay, you know how I am, bro. I'm calm up until a certain point. Second play comes, I'm shielding, I hold the ball, this guy comes and he sweeps me from the back of my leg. Mind you, this is a Brazilian fan base, Brazilian event. We're playing against the same guys. And bro, I didn't know this, but those guys, those YouTubers, bro, they destroyed in Brazil. Like I'm talking like millions of subscribers. So they have a massive fan base, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the ref is not going to give this guy a yellow card or a red card, even though he had them. He wasn't going to give these guys cards because, bro, this game was meant for them to win. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Bro, you know what I did? I get up and this guy looks at me and I tell him I don't know, I'm not going to swear, but bro, I told him, I'm like, yo, you come in Spanish. You come at me like that one more time, I swear to God, I'm gonna crack your legs, bro. But obviously, I was swearing at him. But I whispered it into his ears, and this guy's looking at me like I'm psycho. So then I start. I don't even care about the ball anymore, Edward, bro. Like the ball's moving around the whole field, and I'm just following this one guy, bro. And he's getting. I can tell he's getting nervous because he knows I'm gonna come clap him now, right?
Yeah.
Bro, ball comes, pass to him. Put him on the board. I literally slam my foot into the board with him, and he goes flying over my back, and I start standing over this guy. Bro, right away, the refs come running at me. Yo, this thing was like televised on YouTube and everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was like streamed. Bro, everyone saw it. I was getting DMs like crazy after the game because they were like, dude, they were like, how did they let you get hit like that? This and that. And then the ref comes up to me and the ref tells me to calm down after that hit. After I got hit like 3 times, bro. So then I'm like, whatever. Bro, the ref doesn't say nothing, tells me to calm down. I have all these guys trying to tell me to calm down. Next thing I know, next play comes, I go after the guy again. Like I didn't care about the game anymore. Knock his ass out again. They made a change for him. The ref gives me a yellow. None of these guys got yellows. But dude, that's the way the game went. So I'm dying, bro. Like I'm inside. Like I'm not even joking to you with this, Edward. I'm dying that we get invited to Brazil. We make our own team and we go and we play these guys because it's going to be a totally different story. Mind you, there's that one guy. Remember that guy that I told you in London that is insane? That I love this guy, Luca Netta. The guy that stepped on the ball
good.
a lot.
He's
bro,
good. He made you.
That guy is quality, man. That guy is quality. I witnessed him play, man. And bro, in that game, like our team gave up. We caught a beating. These guys were playing. They scored their goals. But dude, that guy Luca Netta was quality, man. And I tell him all the time, bro. I'm like, dude, you know what he has? He has that mix of futsal with street ball. So he's deadly, man. He's a nice player to play with.
Yeah.
He's very, very smart.
Did you see that move when he's on the ground where he still makes somebody?
Bro, that was ridiculous, guy.
Everybody who's watching, go to his page, check that move out. It was crazy. Yeah.
Dude, yeah, he's amazing. I mean, right now I would rank him within my favorites, man, because he's awesome, bro.
I got 20 seconds left, and then we're gonna. So to wrap this up, I really want to thank you for your time and giving the information that you had. And hopefully, everybody was enjoying it, and we'll be talking way more. And I will definitely come meet you in Miami again, and I hope that you come
Thank
meet me in Amsterdam, brother.